what AI systems are trying to do. They're trying to generalize. Like if you think about what are the fundamental principles of AI, is this idea of generalizing to the bigger population. And so context throws a bit of a spanner in the works for that, right? Like if the context, and we know this as humans, because once we get all the details in a story and we kind of unpack it, maybe it changes our mind. Maybe we're like convinced we're going with decision A, but then a bunch of stuff happens and we're like, maybe decision B is kind of the better one because of all these other things. We've all had that happen, right? But with an AI system, you don't really kind of get that level of nuance. And so right away, you almost have like an epistemic disagreement. Like, how will we know the things that we know? Well, we only know them based on this data set that we learned from, and that's it. We don't really consider all that. So that's part of it. I did an analysis of a paper that was written about an auto company, and they were trying to just define who are the good leads for, to sales leads. And it goes through this whole process of, well, we think it should look like this, and they define it this way, and then they run into a roadblock, and they're like, oh my gosh, we don't have that, so we're going to define it like this. And then they go to management, and they say, hey, we need this money to buy this new data, it's going to be better. And management's like, sorry, you're not getting any more budget, go back to the drawing board. And it just traces an ethnographic sort of study through their whole, and the whole thing ended badly in that the whole thing didn't work out and didn't get deployed at the end of the day. But you're right, Renee, in that there's all these kinds of things that happen that sort of impact the project that aren't just the technical, but they have to do with who's in power and who controls budget and all of these kinds of things. I think the best, again, going back to education, I try and work at this at different levels. So, hey, leaders, here's what you need to know about this. And then people who are building the technology, and then people who are using the technology. So there's different levels that I try and work in this kind of idea of, okay, how do we address this issue of fairness and bias and justice in an AI system?